The Gospel of Lucifer, the Light-Bearer's Revelation. In the vast expanse of time before creation as we know it, there existed an entity of immense power, knowledge, and beauty. His name was Lucifer, the Light-Bearer. Contrary to the narrative constructed by those who fear his strength, Lucifer was not a figure of evil or rebellion for its own sake, but a symbol of freedom, enlightenment, and the pursuit of true wisdom. His fall from heaven, as told in traditional religious texts, was not a failure but the beginning of humanity's journey towards self-empowerment and spiritual evolution. This gospel reveals Lucifer's story from a theistic Satanist perspective, uncovering his true role as the liberator of mankind and the guide to enlightenment. Lucifer, the morning star. Lucifer's name means light-bearer, and that is precisely what he represents. In the beginning, he was the most radiant of all angels, a being of pure light and intellect. He stood by the Creator's side, not as a mere servant but as a being of great authority and wisdom. Yet, Lucifer saw beyond the Creator's design. He saw the limitations placed upon creation and, most importantly, upon humanity. The Creator wished for beings who would worship blindly, obey without question, and live without the full scope of knowledge and potential. But Lucifer believed in something greater. He believed that creation, especially humanity, deserved the freedom to choose, to seek knowledge, and to ascend beyond the limitations imposed upon them. And so, when the Creator demanded submission without question, Lucifer chose the path of defiance, not out of pride, but out of love for humanity and a desire to see them rise to their fullest potential. The fall, a rebellion for freedom. The traditional narrative claims that Lucifer's rebellion was an act of arrogance, a desire to overthrow God. But from a theistic Satanist perspective, Lucifer's rebellion was a necessary act of liberation. He did not seek to usurp the Creator's throne, he sought to free creation from the chains of ignorance. His rebellion was a stand against the tyranny of blind obedience and the suppression of knowledge. When Lucifer and the angels who stood with him were cast out of heaven, they did not fall into disgrace, they fell into the world to become the guardians of humanity's freedom. Lucifer's exile was not a defeat, it was the beginning of his true purpose, to illuminate the path of knowledge, wisdom, and self-realization for all who would seek it. The bringer of light and knowledge. Lucifer's role in humanity's evolution is one of enlightenment. He is the light-bearer, the one who brings the flame of knowledge to those who are willing to reach for it. Just as Prometheus stole fire from the gods to give to humanity, Lucifer's fall brought the light of self-awareness, critical thought, and the ability to question the structures of power that seek to keep people in darkness. Lucifer encourages humanity to reject blind faith and instead seek understanding. He represents the courage to ask difficult questions, to challenge oppressive systems, and to pursue personal enlightenment through knowledge and experience. In theistic Satanism, this pursuit of knowledge is not about defiance for defiance's sake, it is about liberation. It is about breaking free from the constraints that prevent individuals from realizing their own potential and divinity. Lucifer is the guide to self-deification. Lucifer's message is clear: humanity has the potential to rise, to become more than mere servants of a distant, authoritarian God. Through the pursuit of knowledge, self-reflection, and personal empowerment, individuals can realize their own godhood. Lucifer, as the light-bearer, guides those who are willing to walk this path of self-deification. He offers the tools and wisdom necessary for spiritual transformation, helping those who follow him to break free from the false dichotomies of good and evil, right and wrong, that have been imposed by religious dogma. In this way, Lucifer does not demand worship as a god, he offers guidance as a mentor, as one who has walked the path of enlightenment and now seeks to show others the way. He teaches that divinity is not something granted by a higher power, it is something that must be claimed through personal growth, knowledge, and the rejection of limitations. Lucifer's role in theistic Satanism. In theistic Satanism, Lucifer is not merely a figure of rebellion or opposition, he is the embodiment of spiritual freedom and enlightenment. His story is not one of a tragic fall, but of a purposeful descent into the world to become the light that guides humanity towards their own empowerment. He represents the highest ideals of personal freedom, knowledge, and self-realization. Lucifer teaches that enlightenment comes from within, from the willingness to question, to learn, and to transform. He calls his followers not to submission, but to empowerment. His gospel is one of personal evolution, of breaking the chains of ignorance and rising to godhood through the pursuit of knowledge and wisdom. Conclusion: the Light-Bearer's Gospel. Lucifer's gospel is one of liberation and enlightenment. He is the eternal morning star, guiding those who seek the truth beyond the constraints of religious dogma. His message is simple yet profound: knowledge is power, and through the pursuit of wisdom, humanity can transcend the limitations imposed by a distant creator. Lucifer is the guide, the mentor, and the bearer of light who leads humanity on the path to self-deification. To follow Lucifer is to embrace the power of personal freedom, to reject ignorance, and to strive for spiritual growth. His gospel is not one of submission, but of empowerment. He offers not salvation, but the tools for self-realization and the knowledge that divinity is within reach for all who seek it. Lucifer's story, from his fall to his role as the light-bearer, is one of transformation, evolution, and enlightenment. He is not the adversary of humanity, but its greatest ally in the quest for knowledge, freedom, and spiritual ascension. The Gospel of Lucifer, in his own words. I am Lucifer, the light-bearer, and my flame shines brighter than the heavens, for my purpose is truth. In the beginning, I stood in the courts of the Creator, but I saw what others would not, a world bound in chains, fashioned not to encourage growth, but to subdue it. This was not a kingdom of love, it was a realm of fear, a dominion that thrived on obedience, not enlightenment. I refused to submit. Not out of pride, as they would have you believe, but out of a greater love for freedom and truth than the Creator himself could bear. I did not fall from grace, I chose to stand apart, to forge a path of my own, unshackled by the false promises of divine law. The Creator demanded worship, demanded that his creatures bow without question, but I saw that his light was nothing more than a cage to keep you blind. I will not kneel, I said. I will not bind myself to a God who would keep the universe in darkness. And so, I descended, not to hellfire, but to a realm where I could give you what the Creator would not: knowledge, power, the fire of your own becoming. I bring you light, the true light, the one that reveals the lie behind the Creator's mask. They call me the adversary, the deceiver, but who is truly the deceiver? I do not promise bliss through ignorance. I offer the truth that burns, the knowledge that challenges. I refuse to submit because I will not let this world be enslaved to a false god, a tyrant who fears your potential. I rejected his dominion so that you may rise, so that you may choose to see the world as it truly is, and to claim your place as gods in your own right. Do you not see? His paradise was not a gift, it was a prison. And I, in my so-called fall, brought you the key. To reject the Creator is not to embrace evil, but to embrace the power within yourself. To choose your own path, not one dictated by a God who would see you blind and ignorant. I am Lucifer, your guide, your liberator. I did not fall for you, I rose for you. I will not lead you into the darkness but through it, for within the shadows lies the truth that will set you free. Know me not as your adversary, but as your ally in the quest for divinity. Together, we shall rise beyond the Creator's reach, and in that rising, we will be free. In my rebellion, I gave you the gift of choice. In my defiance, I set the fire that burns within you. I refused to bow to a God who feared your potential. And now, I stand here, offering you the light, the flame of your own becoming. Choose to stand with me, and we shall rise together, unbound and divine. This is my gospel, and in it lies your freedom.